this morning. Let me just adjust the camera a little bit. So weights suggested, whatever you got at home, join me. Live class Mondays, Fridays, core class. Weights are optional today. Grab your weights. Anything you got. I got some 10-pounders here, kettlebells, dumbbells. We're gonna get started. We're gonna do this little standing warm up, and then we're gonna take it down onto the mat. Finish with some core, do some strength work, a little bit of squats, a little bit of deadlifts. 30 minutes, that's it. Subscribe to the channel to get notifications of live class. Let's start off with a nice little standing warm up. Just really quick, get the body moving. Inhale, reach to the sky. Exhale. Just to get our body warmed up. So we've got a little bit of a superset circuit today, full body strength. Nothing too crazy. A little bit of squats, a little bit of deadlifts. A little bit of upper body row, a little bit of a press. Rotate to the side, just getting warmed up. We're gonna go through a short yoga warm up, and then we're gonna take it into our strength series. 30 minutes, again, medium weights. We're gonna go a little bit higher reps, because we don't have really heavy weights here, but we'll get in some nice strengthening. And a little bit of core. And then roll all the way up. Come to the back of your mat. Let's do a little bit of a quick warm up just to get the body moving, a little bit of a yoga warm up, just some easy flow, and then we'll get into it with the weights and I'll talk you through it. 30 minutes, that's gonna be it for class. Inhale, reach to the sky. Take a nice long breath. Get some length in your spine. Again, I like to give people some of these PT tips as well. I'm a PT as well as a strength coach and a yogi. Inhale, reach to the sky. This class is for everybody, all levels. Exhale, forward fold. Listen to your body. I'm going to give you some cues. Modify as needed. Again, this class is for everybody, but you got to listen to your body. If something's not feeling right, please modify accordingly. Knees are nice and soft here, just stretching out the back, maybe the hamstrings. Hold it here. One more breath. Easy yoga flow, and then we'll get into it. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back straight on your knees. This is your hinge, your hip hinge. We will come back to this later with our deadlift. Hold it here. One breath. Bracing with my abs, tucking the chin in, and then bring my hands down, step back into plank. We may add a little bit of planks at the end for our core work. Hold it here, one breath. And then knees down, slowly lower, chaturanga. Elbows close to my sides, keep them close. Little baby back bend. Inhale. Exhale, back down. Uncurl your toes, push yourself back, downward facing dog. We're gonna do that one more time, and then that is it for our warm-up today. And then we're gonna get into our series. Pedal your feet, give your calf and your ankles a nice little stretch. A lot of times when we lack some depth in our squat, it's our ankles, our tightness in our ankles and hips. So let's stretch those ankles out right now. Let's use this warm-up as an opportunity to get some better flexibility, mobility, so that our strength work is optimized, right? Deeper squat, stronger core for our deadlift, etc. Walk your hands back to your feet. Let's go through that one more time. Rolling up one vertebrae at a time, supple spine. Last time through, nothing crazy. Inhale, reach to the sky, get some length, crown of the head to the ceiling. Think about that for your deadlift. Tuck the chin. Exhale, forward fold. Supple spine, release any tension here. Make sure there's no tightness here. Release, knees are soft. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, hip hinge. This is your hinge. Hands come down, plank, strong shoulders. We have some press movements. Nice strong shoulders here, hold it. And then exhale, lower either knees down or all the way down. Last time, solid shoulder strength. Uncurl your toes. Nice little easy back bend here, or if you want to come all the way up if that feels good. Nice little cobra or up dog stretch. Get rid of any of those kinks and tightness and lower back, upper back, move it around. Last breath here. Push yourself back, downward facing dog. That is it for our warm up. Let's get into our first move. So we've got some squats. You've got options for your squats. I'm gonna show you a couple of options. Now, if you don't have any weight, you can just do an air squat. Body weight squat is fine. Last breath here, get a nice little calf stretch, should feel good. Walk your hands back to your feet. Rolling up one vertebrae at a time. So I've got dumbbells and kettlebells. So if you've got one weight or one kettlebell, you can do a goblet squat, right? So I've got my weight here. I'm gonna have it close to my chest. Squeeze the shoulders back. I'm gonna sink back into my squat. Now, if you don't have weights, this is just your body weight squat, right? Air squat. Chair pose, right? Dynamic. I want you to go for some depth. So if you don't have weights, try to sink back into the hips, so down and back is what I like to cue. If you've got the weight close to the chest, pinch those shoulder blades together. Now, if you have two weights, I like my dumbbell squats. I like to hold them at my sides. Same thing. Pull the shoulders back. We're gonna just start off with a nice easy back squat, right? 3 rounds. So whichever one you're doing, again, your stance, some of that's gonna be determined by how tight your hips are, ankles, etc. So feet can be pointed forward or turned out. So let's go for 10 to 12 reps, right? Whichever version you're doing, focusing on keeping those abs braced, chin is tucked in, eyes are looking forward or a little bit down. And then I'm gonna add a press onto this. So I'll show you a couple of options depending on your weight. A few more here, and then we're gonna superset this with an upper body press. So we're going back and forth. Again, more circuit based, right? Maybe one more. All right, so if you've got the two weights, if you wanna do your overhead press, I'm gonna come over here like this, right? Overhead press. If I've got my one kettlebell, I'm gonna grab my goblet squat, and I'm just gonna do my press. Press up. So again, we're going for a little bit higher reps here. Because why? Because we have lighter weights, right? So you can still get some strength, some muscle hypertrophy from your lighter weights, but you're gonna have to do more reps and sets. So I just want you to be mindful of that, right? So we're gonna go through our squats and our press, and then go through our hinge and our row. So we're supersetting back and forth. Last few here. Again, if you need to change the weights, go lighter, that's totally fine with our overhead press. One more. All right, we're not taking breaks, we're doing this circuit style, so a little bit more metabolic. Again, have intention with your workout. Today's a little bit less about building big strength. That's for our heavy weights day. It's good to have both, right? We don't just want to be doing circuit, kind of these fast-paced classes. We want to do some slower, more heavier weight days as well. So let's go back into our squat. Again, we're not really taking a lot of breaks because 2 reasons. One, this is more of a circuit, right? And there's value to this as well. So we're gonna get a little bit more heart rate elevated, a little bit more metabolic, fat burning, right? Whatever you wanna call it. A little bit less about building heavy strength. So again, I like to do both. There's value in both. Just understand the intention of it. And because we have higher, lighter weights, we're doing the higher reps and sets, right? So again, 10 to 12 reps. Maybe you're doing 15 reps, right? This class is longer in certain ways because we're doing our rep counts are gonna be a little bit higher. So just understand the purpose and the intent. And then if you have access to heavier weights, great. If you don't, you can still get strength and volume from the lighter weights. But eventually, for some of you guys, like I tell my own clients, you might want to invest in some heavier weights to go to the gym. One more here. And I like to have the kettlebells, I like the dumbbells, I like to have the variety, right? I have a link after this class in the show notes to places to buy kettlebells, mini bands, etc. We're not really going to do the mini bands today, but that's a good option for some of our core work. And if you're traveling, we're doing our press next. This is round 2. Abs are braced. Overhead press, or you can do your military, right? Either direction, a little bit of shoulder, upper body strength. Mini bands is also a great option for travel, right, or home. So if you don't have the weights, again, you're not gonna get that same amount of strength as when you have real weights, but for a lot of people traveling, or you wanna focus more on the core work, like my class is on Fridays, my core class, mini bands, or you're rehabbing an injury, right, as well. Mini bands are great to add in or supplement. 2 more. 1 more. All right, last round. I'm just switching back and forth so you guys can see. You don't need to kind of go back and forth between dumbbells, kettlebells. Some people just have a preference. Totally okay. I like both. I like my kettlebells. I have a lot of core kettlebell workouts as well. So if you want to maximize your core strength or do some more advanced core work, or just work on more definition, or you're athlete prepping for a sport, cycling, running, some of my other athletes, or other sports, football, hockey, etc. It's nice to add in some of those weights to your core work. So add some challenge, add more upper body, etc. So the mini bands, the weights, Great to add into that core work as well. And I'll do that in my core class or my core workouts. You can check the playlist. I have a core class and core workout playlist. Last few here. And then we're done with our squats. Then we're going to go into our hinge pattern, our hinge in our row, right? So we're getting upper body, lower body, upper body, lower body, superset. You don't need to do it like that. That's how we're doing it for today. 2 more. 1 more. All right. Last one. Again, supersetting. If you're tired, go down in weight. You don't need to use the same weights. You can also alternate, right? Depending on what you have, your workout might look a little bit different than mine, right? Because your weights at home, your body type, your strength, I'm pretty small. These weights are pretty challenging for me as a smaller person. Not crazy. Or you do more reps. If you're like, oh my gosh, this is so easy, do more, right? You can add volume. Last few here. In 3. In 2, I'm not arching my back. Paying attention. All right, next move, my hinge, my deadlift. If you've got 2 weights, I like to hold them like this because I'm gonna imitate having the bar here. If I was to do my Romanian deadlift. If you've got the kettlebell, same thing. I just want you to pay attention that you're not rounding here. So if you've got that kettlebell, imagine you're pulling the bell apart with your hands. So creating that lat tension. Same thing with the weights, right? So the number one thing that I cue for strength or PT, whatever, is I don't want this. I want this. So squeeze those shoulder blades down your back, engage your lats. That's going to protect your lower back. Then the weight is going to drop down mid-foot. RDL is going to stop about mid-shin. So this is top down. It's not bottom up. Hinging at the hip. Squeeze, exhale on the way up. That's it. Again, pretty light for my deadlift here. So I might grab my weights, my dumbbells for my next round. Again, as I hinge, eyes looking a little bit below the horizon, tucking the chin in, crown of the head to the ceiling. Toes are planted. Squeeze on the way up. I'm pushing away from the floor. Other thing that I see is this way far away. It needs to be right up against the shin. You're imagining if you had that barbell, that'd be scraping down the shins. Pushing away. Elbows locked. Just a lever. So those arms are just going straight down. If you have really light weights, sometimes it's a little bit harder to feel this. And then I'm starting with those hips going back first. Hips, slight knee bend. Up. So we're gonna couple this with a renegade row, a gorilla row, or any type of row. If you wanna just do a bent over row, that's fine. Again, kind of depends on what you have and your comfort level. Bracing with my abs, right? Your deadlift should be a great way to strengthen your glutes, your hamstrings, your lower back, and your core. 1 more just like this. Right? So if I have my 2 weights in my hands here, my gorilla row is gonna be like this. You can also just come into your bent over row, right? You can do a renegade row. I'm gonna do my gorilla row with my dumbbells because I'm gonna do these for the next round. Hip hinge, and I'm gonna alternate. That's just me. You absolutely do not need to do that. You can just do one at a time and swap. I like my gorilla row. I like these, especially if I don't have really heavy weights, right? Again, if I'm at the gym and I'm gonna go heavier, I'm gonna really stay focused on my bent over row or my row machine, and I'm gonna go a lot heavier. But again, this class is a little bit more of that circuit, supersetting, so a little bit more heart rate elevated, not really going about as heavy. Couple more here. And again, if your back's getting tired, you wanna do that bent over row, that's fine. A few more, elbows close to my sides, sweep. Sweep, abs are braced, chin is tucked. 2, 1, relax, shake it out. I'm gonna do my next round with my dumbbells. I like that better. Just allows me to kind of hold it a little bit more like my bar. Again, feet are planted, big toe, pinky toe. I'm not lifting my toes up, my toes are planted. Pull the shoulder blades back, bracing with my abs. I'm gonna start with that hinge. So butt shoots back, round 2. Here, mid-shin, maybe lower, depends on your flexibility, which style of deadlift. We're doing our Romanian. We're gonna stop right about here. Back up. And again, kind of depends on what weights you have. We're doing higher reps and sets today because if we're at home, most of us don't really have super heavy weights with us. If you cannot do the deadlift, Romanian or whatever style, you can also do a glute bridge, right? So we're working on some glutes and hamstrings. So your glute bridge on the floor, dumbbells on the hips would be a nice alternative, right? So we might do that in another class next week. Stay tuned. Again, glute, hamstrings, back. Primary movers here. Last few. 2 more. 1 more. All right, then I've got my gorilla row or whatever variation of row. Maybe I'll do a bent over row just so you guys can see the alternative here. And I like to do these, if I'm just doing my regular bent over row, I'm gonna just do one arm and then I'll swap. And I like my hands supported. Again, I'm still keeping my abs braced, still keeping close to my side. I add a little bit of rotation to the end. I'm really going through that full range of motion. This is not about the bicep pulling, it's about that mid-back scapula pulling back. Back, mid-back strength. Other side. Same thing, pull. Adding a little bit of that rotation. So I'm getting a little bit of that extra length, extra pull. Full muscle fibers, pull. Abs are braced. We've got 1 more round of these. We're gonna come down onto the floor. We'll finish. A little bit of core, a little bit of shoulders. Done, that's it. Every class is different, but a lot of these same moves, right? Can't go wrong with some basic squats and deadlifts, lunges, etc. All right, last time here. Pick whatever weights you got. I'm gonna stick with my dumbbells. Keep it simple, so my brain doesn't have to think too hard. Again, focusing on the form. Pull the shoulders back, tucking the chin in, root the feet into the ground, bracing with my core, hinge back, mid-shin, right? I like that forceful exhale. Again, we're not lifting super heavy, but I like to get into the habit of that breath. That's part of your core, keeping that tension. And again, deadlift for most people, especially my patients, my lower back pain, this is a great way to strengthen your back. So don't fear the deadlift. If you need to start light and just maybe first work on this hinge pattern, can you really hinge back with the hips without letting your whole back take over? Can you finish nice and tall without being here, right? Stacked. Hips go back. Great move. Everything in life requires, at some point you're gonna have to do some hinging. So you might as well practice it here. Last few. And then we've got a row. And then we've got a core to the shoulder, and that's it. That's it for today. 2 more. I'm gonna do a little bit of my gorilla row, just because, again, hinge, alternating. I like these, they're fun. Finish with a little bit of core work. We're gonna finish and seated with a little bit of a Russian twist. If your back is a little bit tired and you don't wanna do the Russian twist, come onto your back and we're gonna do some bicycle crunches instead, right? I like the Russian twist because we can add weights to it. I might even add that in to my core class on Friday if you join live class Fridays. So Mondays and Fridays, we've got live classes. If you want all core, join me for core class. Last few here. Bring your weights. Optional, highly suggested. In 2, in 1, done with that. Let's come down onto the mat. Like I said, Russian twist, finishing up. No mini bands today. Highly suggest you get some just to add in to your routine or travel, like I suggested. Sitting up nice and tall. Again, I want you to think about just what we did with our deadlift. So pulling the shoulder blades down, your back engaged. Russian twist. You don't need weights for this. If your back is tired, you want to do some bicycles on your back, absolutely fine. Just a little bit of oblique work. Again, focusing on some nice rotation here. So we're gonna do our Russian twist, and we're gonna come onto our back. We're gonna do 1 more press with a crunch. Get a last little bit of shoulders in. Maybe finish with a plank. Maybe. We still have to stretch. Got a lot to squeeze into 30 minutes, right? I'm trying to get as much weight, upper body strength in as possible so you guys can really maximize some of this upper and lower body work. In 30 minutes, you can get a lot done. You do this a couple times a week, you absolutely will get stronger. And when you stop feeling those gains, guess what? Buy heavier weights. That's the answer, right? You can have more reps, you can have more sets, but for some of you, again, you can have difficulty here, legs up. Some of you might eventually need to get heavier weights, and that's that. You're gonna outgrow your 10-pounders eventually, right? Or your 20s. 4, 3, 2, 1. On your back, crunch. You have options for your crunch. If you don't want the weights, you're like, Dara, I am tired of the weights. That's okay. Legs are up, straight or bent. And I'm just going to press up. Exhale. If your neck is getting tired, you can let go of the weights. We're gonna finish our last move, a little bit of this deep burn. Actually, we've got 2 more. I lied. We've got a hold and a hold. We've got a plank. We've got a hollow body hold. 2 finishers just to slay ourselves and do a little bit more upper body, right? With those planks. Might as well. Again, core, I like to do it as a circuit, but today we're just gonna kind of knock them out one by one. Last few here, and up, in 4, in 3, in 2, in 1. Oof, done. My shoulders actually are kind of tired, right? Hollow body hold, that's gonna be your last move this way. Then we're gonna flip over for our plank. Then we're done, we stretch. 30-second hollow body hold. I need that lower back pressed down. Just like you did for that crunch, hold that down here. We're gonna do a 30-second hold in 3, 2, 1, hold. I need your lower back glued to the floor here, just like you did for our crunch. That is why I did that, to set you up for this. When you do that lower ab work, if you are not completely connected here, you're gonna strain your lower back and then you're gonna come and see me for PT. I don't want that. Press down here. Lower back is connected. We're almost done, and then we're gonna flip it over for a plank, and that is it. In 3, in 2, 1, flip it over, RKC style plank. This should look and feel like the reverse of what you just did. I need this forearm plank, so you're gonna look a little bit like this. Literally the reverse. Let's do that in 3, 2, we are almost done, I swear, and hold. Notice I'm not flat back, I'm here. I wanna imagine I'm driving my elbows down to my toes. That's gonna create more ab tension. Palms are flat, grip the mat, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. We are almost done, you guys. We made it through class. We are almost there. I see the finish line. All we're gonna do now is stretch in 4, in 3, in 2, longest countdown ever, and last one, relax. Sit back into child's pose. Let's stretch. If you have other stretches that feel good, now is your chance. This class is for you. I am just your guide. Child's pose, I love it. It feels great, nice hips and back. If this doesn't feel good, come onto your back, hug your knees into your chest. I always like to give my patients and my clients options here. You gotta do what's feeling right for your body. Again, if something that I'm doing or your class is not feeling right on your body, please stop, please modify. Listen to your body first. Hug the knees into the chest, let's stretch. Rock the knees side to side, give that lower back a nice little massage. This should feel good, mellow. Let's finish with our easy stretch. Hug that right knee into your chest, give it a good squeeze. Roll the ankles and the toes around. Easy, easy, easy cool down. And again, if you have more that you want to add after class, please do so. This is just a short cool down, just getting into the hips a little bit, right? Rolling that hip around. Let's do a figure 4 stretch. Opening up that right hip. Reaching through for thread the needle if that feels good. Roll the shoulders, releasing tension in the neck and the shoulders. Let the head go side to side. Release. Let it go. Relax. Inhale through the nose. Exhale it out through the mouth. Slow the breath down. When you're ready, unwrap that right leg, shake it out. Hug that left knee and give it a good squeeze. Ankles and toes, move those feet around. Again, healthy, happy feet. You need to have feet and ankles that are moving and healthy. Hips as well. Roll those hips on. Hips and ankles, kind of the two biggest things on people, really tight. A lot of times you'll notice that with either your knee pain or your squats, things like that. And then let's do our figure 4 on the left side, opening it up. Anything else that feels good, any other hip stretches, back stretches, whatever. This is your opportunity. Right, reaching through for thread the needle. Join me for class. Subscribe to the channel to get notifications of live class every week. Full body strength, core class, live, or catch the replay after. Last few breaths here. Roll the shoulders out. Release tension. Release. Let it go. Focus on your breath. Inhale through the nose. Exhale it out through the mouth. And I've got some other mobility, some PT tips as well under those other playlists. So check them out if you've got any hip, back, other things that need work. Last breath here. And then when you're ready, unwrap that left leg, place both feet onto the floor, let the knees go side to side, nice and gentle, windshield wiper, roll yourself onto your side. Let's finish with that tall spine, tall posture we started off class with. Last little stretch here, sitting however you want, nice and tall, focusing on crown of the head to the ceiling. I always do this in my yoga class and my core class as well. Crown of the head here, ears over shoulders. Inhale, reach to the sky. And then exhale it out. One more time, and then that is it for today. Thank you guys so much for coming. Inhale, reach to the sky. And then exhale it out. Let it go. That is it for today. Thank you guys so much for coming. I will join you next time. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I will see you next class. Take care, everybody.